It is yellow. What am I guessing? Little fun fact, Doug and I have known each other my entire life. He's way older than me. We were family friends.
So we got married in 1999, had our first child, Nash, in 2004, and then shortly thereafter, about 16 months after, we had Charlotte. So a beautiful family of 4 of us, got the boy and the girl, and everything was working out great. But then we started to notice that Charlotte was missing some of the milestones.
And then for about the next year, she just fell further and further behind.
At that point, the future's scary because there's just so much uncertainty. Your dreams of a typical family are kind of dashed.
Our days became centered around therapies and doctor's appointments.
I mean, we still didn't have a diagnosis. We had to continue hoping that it wouldn't progress worse.
Decided to have a 3rd child, and my pregnancy went well, and we had a little boy, and he was so darling, and we named him Cooper. And then he was supposed to smile at 6 weeks. And I just prayed. I just said, come on, Cooper, like smile, like hit the marks. And he didn't. And I was worried. And then the next mark he was supposed to hit, he didn't. And I was like, oh my gosh, please don't let this have happened again. We went to see a neurologist, and she said, yeah, I think he probably has whatever Charlotte has. And I fell to my knees, and we sobbed. And we were devastated. We were devastated and so scared of what life was gonna be like for us with 2 kids with significant special needs. And for Nash, who now has two siblings that are so different. That was a really tough time. So today, Charlotte is 20 years old, finally learned to walk at 3. She now can barely walk on her own.
She needs assistance with all activities of daily living. We need to dress her, we need to help her with toileting.
She loves to hang out with other people, although those options are few and far between, unfortunately. And Cooper is now 15. Cooper is nonverbal. Very hard to know what's bothering him. The poor guy just is trapped in his own body. And in addition, he has horrible seizures.
He speaks through cuddles and hugs and kisses.
Looks us in the eye and, you just see straight into his gorgeous little soul. We just wish he didn't, have so many challenges. What we learned, it was a crazy twist of genetic fate, that we each had a variant on the same gene. We each gave that variant to Charlotte and Cooper, and it knocked out the function of the gene. Once we knew the gene and that nobody was working on it, it was up to us to investigate this. We started a foundation, the FAM177A1 Research Fund. So not long after we moved to Mercer Island, and Charlotte was about 5 and Cooper was just a baby, somebody said, hey, do you know about the Friendship Circle? And they said, yeah, they run a program that you can drop your kids off at the community center for a couple hours on Sundays. And we were thinking, what? This can't be possible. Like, things like this don't exist. When I talked to Esther about it, she said, bring Charlotte and we'll pair her up with a buddy, typically developing peer who's had some training, and we'll have some adults there too to support them, but it's really about the relationship between these typically developing peers and your child. It was just amazing. She was happy, and people were happy to see her. So we were frequent flyers from the beginning to the Friendship Circle. Currently, when Charlotte goes to Sunday Circle, one of her buddies there is Zoe.
Me and Charlotte definitely have like a really good bond.
And Charlotte does her which is a sure sign that she's with good company.
Basically just hang out for a good 3 hours and get to do fun activities and really just get to bond with your buddies.
We know that Friendship Circle has a huge impact for the kids with special needs and their families, and sometimes it's overlooked how impactful Friendship Circle is for the typical teens that are working with these kids and how it will positively affect the rest of their life. It's also a huge help for parents of kids with special needs. They have a safe place for their kids to go and get a little bit of a break for themselves.
As sad as it is, I could go home and I could cut the lawn. Not typically what you really want to do, but at least it frees up a couple hours to get some stuff done without having, the constant need to parent two special needs kids.
So the Friendship Circle has a Friends at Home program. Your child is paired up with a teen who comes to your home on a regular basis and hangs out with your child. Our kids don't have a lot of play dates. They don't get to hang out a lot, so it's a really, really special thing to have.
Charlotte and I have been friends for 3 years. Charlotte and I hang out every week. It's just, she never fails to make me smile. It's just so fun to hang out with her.
Sometimes Charlotte will go to Riley's house, and that's a bonus package because Riley has sisters that are awesome, and Riley has dogs.
She's just absolutely an extension of our family at this point. She's wonderful.
And I love seeing what she brings out in Riley. She brings out a lightness in Riley and a silliness in Riley that we don't always get to see.
It's so heartwarming for us to be able to see that she's got a consistent friend coming over and spending time with her. It's just awesome.
So Friendship Circle also has a program just for teens.
At that program, we really focus on more life skills that you would need to have. It allows everyone to just gain more life experience with real world situations. Sometimes we'll walk to the grocery store that's just a few blocks from it.
Many years ago now, Cooper had a friend at home named Jacob. Jacob came every single weekend to play with Cooper. And Jacob didn't live close. Jacob lived in North Seattle.
I loved the visits. It was, always a highlight of my week, a highlight of my weekend. I would walk in the door and he'd always get really excited.
And they had the sweetest relationship. It got to be Jacob's senior year of high school, and we were already really sad that he was going to go off to college.
Duke was my top choice. I applied to 8 schools, but Duke was by far my number one.
And he asked if I would write him a letter of recommendation, and I said, of course, I'd be happy to. And then later that year, I saw Jacob's parents at the Friendship Circle Gala. And they said, hey, did Jacob tell you what the admissions counselor said? I said, no. He said, well, he went to a reception for accepted students at Duke. And Jacob said to them, why did I get in? I can't believe I got into Duke. How did I get in? And they said, that letter from that mom. And it took my breath away. And I just thought, what a moment, right? That Jacob came into our life and made such an impact, changed Cooper's life. And then in turn, I wrote about how awesome he was and potentially change the course of Jacob's life. And to me, like, it just captured the magic of the friendship circle in that moment.
And the irony of it is Jill went to University of North Carolina and helped him get into Duke, which, I mean, that's like
it says a lot
yeah.
that I would have done that for him.
After my 4 years at Duke, I went to work for a sports analytics company in Washington, D.C. for 5 years. And last August, the head coach of Michigan, Dusty May, called me, and I took a new job as the director of basketball analytics at the University of Michigan. Looking back on, my experience at Friendship Circle and just kind of thinking about how one thing, leads to another. With everything sort of culminating in Michigan winning its first national championship in basketball since 1989, in my first year working with the team.
The Wolverines win the national title.
This friendship circle is a win-win all around.
It's a basic human right. Humans need and crave and deserve social connection.
My experience with Friendship Circle has definitely been a lifelong positive one.
It has also just given me so much perspective in everyone's life as well as my own.
The lessons learned there about how to be accepting of everyone, to show compassion to every other person, has been something that I've really tried to take with me.
For the volunteers, a huge thank you to them.
They're really making a big impact in this world, and we're so grateful.
As you look at the overall impact that Friendship Circle has had on Mercer Island and Seattle as a broader community, it's just been massive. You think of the thousands of participants who have been through the program, thousands of high schoolers and kids who have been part of it, and all the ripples of those relationships as they go out into the world. It's just been impactful. So we feel very lucky to have been part of it.